name's Lieutenant Commander Mark Haney. I'm the PXO for USS Fort Worth, and I've been invited to a local Sea Cadet unit to talk about anything I want. Good afternoon. My name is Lieutenant Commander Mark Haney. I am a surface warfare officer in the United States Navy. That means I drive these big gray ships you see out here in San Diego Bay, and it's my pleasure to come here and talk to you guys today. And I did a little research, and I'll just have to say that I am impressed with the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps. I didn't know a lot about them, but I've read, and it says here that one of your major goals is to foster your leadership abilities, broaden your horizons through hands-on training, and guide you to become mature young adults. Is that what you guys think has been going on in the Sea Cadets? Well, you may not believe it, but it's probably true, or I believe it is true. You know, doing your drills, going out on ships, you know, learning to drive, you know, the small boats, being with your friends, working together as a team. You know, you're learning life skills and leadership skills that I bet your peers that aren't, you know, in the Sea Cadets get that chance. You know, a lot of times the first chance they have to interact on the level that you do in the Sea Cadets is, you know, once they've graduated college or once they go off to high school, their first job. You're learning these skills now between, you know, the ages of 11 to 17. And I guarantee that one day you'll look back on your time here in the Sea Cadets and you're going to say, man, that was important to me. I actually talked to some of my friends and shipmates who were part of the Sea Cadets who are now in the Navy. You know, some of them are officers, you know, driving ships, commanding ships. Others are on the waterfront working on the ships. And they look back on their time with the Sea Cadets as, you know, one of the most informative and building experiences for them. It was a springboard for them. It got them into a good job. Some of them, it got them out of a bad situation because they found themselves around, you know, a good group of friends, good role models, and it propelled them into a better situation. So I would say that the Sea Cadets and what you are part of today is good. It's an amazing organization. It's an organization that I would like to be a part of more. I'm going to recommend that you guys come out to the ship and check out what we do in the Navy. I know you guys are associated with the Navy, but you do a lot of you know, work here on land, but let's bring you out to the Fort Worth and see what we do on the Navy side. And I'll ask you, you may not know what your Navy does, America's Navy. And so I'll talk to you a little bit about what we do, and then we'll take some questions after that. So what does your Navy do? I know you see them out here. You see the big gray hull ships that are out on the waterfront, and you see them. They go out the harbor and they disappear over the horizon, and then they come back. Some of you may have family members that are in the Navy, and you know, maybe they disappear for 8 or 9 months out of the year, and it's a hard time for you and your family. But they come back and they tell you what they did. But what is the Navy? What does the Navy do? Well, first and foremost, we are a warfighting force. Your Navy, my Navy, America's Navy is the strongest, most powerful Navy this world has seen. We go forward. We have, you know, the most technological vessels, ships in the world. They are deadly. They are fast. The Fort Worth that I'm going to is a littoral combat ship. It's the fastest ship here on the waterfront, and it's basically a speedboat with guns. That's awesome. So the Navy is designed to go out there, get the bad guys, but also represent America. You know, that American flag flies on every ocean out there. And it represents all the great things that America stands for. And that's your Navy. Out there every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, patrolling and making this world safe. And that's what we call operating forward. You know, if you're part of the Navy, you know, you see what the Army does, you see what the Marines do, you know they're in Afghanistan, you know they're fighting the bad guys on the ground. Well, America is everywhere. America's Navy is everywhere. And not only are we fighting, we're also protectors of the sea. We look after other mariners, we fight pirates, and it's not the Pirates of the Caribbean guys who are out there. You know, there's bad actors out there that we take care of. And so we're protecting the world. We're also first to help. Probably some of the first things you've seen about the Navy, or you see recently in the news, the Navy is about what we've done to help out our friends over in Japan after the big earthquake or the typhoon that came through the Philippines. You know, because the Navy is out there operating forward, we're the first people that can respond. And America's Navy is there to help. And with that, I'm ready to take any questions. Yes, Timmy.
Tucker, one of the Sea Cadets. How many people have you killed?
I've not killed anybody.
How many ships has your ship sunk?
My ship has not sunk any ships. Actually, I'm not on the ship yet, but no ship that I have ever been on in the United States Navy has fired a round in anger or has killed or hurt anybody. Now, that's not saying that other ships out there haven't. I've just personally not experienced that, and I will say that that is the last resort for the United States Navy. We are a force for good. We're out there, we're protecting people, and the last thing we want to do is hurt somebody or kill somebody. And I hope never to have to do that personally. But if called upon to protect America or our friends or our allies, I will.
So if we're protecting America, why are our ships not staying here off the coast?
Well, that's what we're talking about operating forward. Our Navy is out there protecting America's interest far from our seas. And we'd much rather protect America before the threat got to our seas. Got to our shores. So we're out there protecting America before the threat even gets here.
Thank you.
No problem. Susie?
Sir, I'm Susie Jones, one of the Sea Cadets also, and you invited us to come out to your ship, and you said that some of the things that we do is going on ships, but I would say from some of our leaders who've been in the Sea Cadets for a long time, we've seen a drop-off of us being able to go out to Navy ships and visit and do that kind of interaction. And what we've been told is it has to do with budget issues. I don't understand, why can't we come out and visit you? It doesn't seem like it would cost us anything to drive over to the base and go out on ships and get underway with you and see how the Navy operates.
Well, I'm here today to tell you that we will bring you over to the ships and we'll see it. And we may not get underway, but you can learn a lot about the ships by not getting underway. You can still come out, you can see what we do, you can participate with the crew, you can meet the crew, you can talk to them, you can see if what they do is something that you're interested in. You can learn a lot just by visiting the waterfront here. And also, if the opportunity is provided, we will look into getting you out underway to see a big Navy ship underway. Yes.
Hey, sir, I'm Dave from the Seacat headquarters. I'm the PAO for this local unit. You mentioned that you have a personal friend who is in the Sea Cadets and is now commanding the ship. Can I get his name and which ship he's in command so I can do an interview? I'd love to interview him.
I'll get that to you after this.
Yeah, little Jimmy, my dad's in the Navy too, but he has a lot more stuff on his uniform than you do. So how can you be the captain? My dad's not.
Well, maybe he will be someday.
What's on your chest?
Oh, my ribbons?
Sure.
Well, first I told you I was a surface warfare officer. So this pin right here, this gold pin, you'll see a lot of people wearing this. And can I ask what your dad does?
My dad shoots weapons.
Shoots weapons. Cool. That's a cool job. This pin right here represents a surface warfare officer. You'll see there's a ship right here in the middle. That means I'm a surface warfare officer. And I'm not sure what your dad specifically, but he may have a similar pin, maybe gold, maybe silver. I don't know if you remember.
No, he has Navy anchors though.
Navy anchors. Oh, your dad's a chief most likely. Does that sound right? Sounds good. Yeah, chief is. I have chiefs work on the ship with us, and amazing. And he has an amazing experience. He's probably been in the Navy a lot longer than I have, and so he probably has a lot more ribbons up here.
How did you become his boss?
How did I become his boss? Well, there's two types of routes in the Navy you can choose. You can choose to be an enlisted person, which is you normally right out of high school you can join the Navy. You can become an enlisted person, and usually you don't go to college for that, and you learn a skill, a specific skill, and you usually focus on that. So you said your dad shoots guns, so he's probably an expert. He's probably been shooting guns since he came in the Navy, and he is by far an expert in doing that. And the Navy needs those. The Navy needs people who are experts in those systems, because we talked about how technologically advanced the Navy was. And today's systems require people who spend their entire focus area learning those systems. So your dad is most likely an expert in shooting weapons. And so we have a lot of these experts, these individual experts that are considered enlisted. And then you have a group that's called officers, and these typically go to college first, and then they become a commissioned officer, and they usually take over a leadership position, and they train to be leaders in the Navy. And they, you know, your father is an expert. Well, that officer will never be an expert, but he in that specific field. But overall, he's demonstrated potential for command and potential to overall lead all the experts to complete a mission. And you know, it's really a choice. You know, if you want to join the Navy and just focus and learn, you know, a specific skill, if you like working on something, that's a great thing about the Navy, is that you can basically, if there's something you like to do today, you can most likely find a job in the Navy that allows you to do that.